Welcome to Moviecaps. Today, I will show you a horror thriller from 2020, titled, Babysitter Must Die. Spoilers ahead. Watch out, and take care. The image of an ancient symbol can be seen, as a woman's voice recites the mantra of a cult known as the Divide. Then, in an isolated house, a babysitter Josie counts to 10, playing hide and seek with Sophia. As she searches for Sophia around the family home, she fails to notice the ominous man who's watching her from outside. The man is one of the members of the Divide. After looking in every room, Josie finally finds Sophia hiding in the attic. When they head back downstairs, Josie wonders why the pizza they ordered is taking so long, while Sophia asks if they can play hide and seek again after they've eaten. Josie hears a vehicle arrive, and heads to the door thinking it's the pizza man, but it's actually Sophia's parents Rick and Jen Castillo, who've returned early from their night out. They're soon joined by their guests Patch and Sadie, who quickly make themselves comfortable. Patch, who seems to be nursing a hangover, is surprised that Josie is a babysitter, mockingly assuming that she's a teenager, but Josie tells him that she's actually in college. Sadie interjects to tell Patch that they were once friends in high school. When Rick and Jen enter the room, Josie asks if she should leave, but Sadie interrupts her when she notices her unique belt, which she made from all the badges she got from Camp Mustard Seed, a camp they both attended when they were younger. With the adults around her making her feel immature, Josie asks again if she should leave, but this time it's Sophia who interrupts her, wanting to play another game of hide and seek. Josie agrees and leaves her phone on the couch, to find a hiding place under the table, as Sophia counts to 10. Everyone else settles in, with Patch playing the guitar, while Sadie and Jen talk about the store Sadie will be opening soon. Suddenly, the doorbell rings, and Rick goes to open it assuming it's the pizza man. But it's actually one of the intruders, a man with a missing ear, who surprises Rick and strikes him with the butt of his pistol. Seeing this, Patch runs over to help Rick by smashing the guitar on the intruder's back. Unfortunately, his attack doesn't injure the intruder, who quickly aims his pistol at him. Rick tells Sophia to run, and Josie watches helplessly from her hiding place beneath the table, as the one-eared man shoots Patch. Horrified, Sadie goes to check on her boyfriend, as Sophia runs to her mother Jen. Josie then watches the terrified mother and daughter duo try to escape using the back door, but they are intercepted by another intruder, the Brute, a large man without a tongue, who slaps Jen onto the floor. Still hidden, the helpless babysitter sees the third and final intruder, a woman with a missing eye, walk into the home. The woman, who's clearly the leader of the cult, orders Jen and Sophia to follow Brute into the dining room. She then approaches Sadie, who is still checking on the wounded Patch, before dragging her to a couch and mercilessly shooting her. The woman walks back to Patch and shoots him in the eye, killing him. She then heads into the dining room, where the Castillo family is now tied up. She tells them that all their friends are dead, as the Brute smashes their phones with a sledgehammer. Still concealed by the table, Josie watches as the one-eared man carries a bunch of duffel bags into the house. He then takes out a set of building schematics of the home, as well as a circular saw. In the dining room, Jen bites the Brute's hand when he tries to gag her. Enraged, he responds by banging her head against the table, seriously injuring her. The cult leader orders the Brute to stop, while reminding him that the ritual they've come to perform requires them to kill people in a precise manner. She then instructs him to take Rick to their fellow accomplice for questioning. During his interrogation, Rick notices Josie still hiding under the table. He's able to secretly tell her about another phone that's upstairs, as the Brute breaks some of his fingers. The intruder then shows Rick what he and his fellow cult members are looking for, a device that looks like a box, while Josie is able to sneak out of her hiding place and escape. But she doesn't close the door properly, which leaves the intruder a little suspicious when he notices it. In a room upstairs, the Brute approaches one of the walls holding his sledgehammer. He's looking for one of the boxes the cult needs for its ritual. Meanwhile, Josie, now outside the home, climbs one of the trees trying to make her way to the phone upstairs. She breaks one of the branches during her climb, and the cult member interrogating Rick hears the suspicious sound. He immediately points his weapon at Rick, convinced that there's someone else lurking in the home. But the cult leader enters the space, informing her panicked colleague that he can't kill the father before the ritual. She gets him to lower his weapon, by pointing out that the suspicious sound he heard was simply the Brute, who's upstairs knocking down walls with his sledgehammer. She instructs him to take the entire family into the basement, and to start digging for the evil gateway that's buried beneath the home. Upstairs, Josie completes her climb and enters one of the rooms. She quickly finds the phone Rick told her about, but must first charge it, since its battery is empty. The cult leader also heads upstairs, and tells the brute to use his dark instincts to locate the box they're looking for. Following his leader's instructions, the brute's instincts guide them into the same room Josie is in. The cornered babysitter quickly hides in the shower, and conceals herself with the shower curtain. Fortunately for her, the cult leader and brute sense that the relic they're looking for is located in a wall just outside the bathroom. As the brute starts digging into the wall, the cult leader enters the bathroom to inspect her one-eyed face in the mirror. In the basement, Rick and Sophia watch as the one-eared man begins ripping off the carpet. Jen is still unconscious from the head injury Brute gave her. Upstairs, the Brute notices the bite mark Jen left on his hand, and decides he wants to go downstairs and finish her off. But the cult leader tells him to stick to the plan, and gets him to listen to her, by commanding him to recite the ritual they've come to perform, while placing an electrolarynx on his throat. As he does, Josie hears everything he says, helping her understand what their true motives are, which is to sacrifice the Castillo family in a ritual to bring about a new world. The pizza man finally arrives, and rings the doorbell. The cult leader heads downstairs to answer the door, while Josie enters another room to see if she can find a way to warn the unsuspecting man. When the cult leader opens the door, the pizza man steps in and tells her the pizza is free since he's late. He also notices Rick Castillo's picture, and recognizes him as a famous music producer. Losing patience, the cult leader chases the delivery man out, and listens to the phone call he makes from behind the closed door. The pizza man calls a friend, and tells him that he's just delivered pizza to the famous Rick Castillo's house. Ending the call, he takes a picture of the Castillo home, as Josie tries to quietly signal him from a room upstairs. As the pizza man checks the image on his phone, he notices Josie, but he's quickly confronted by the cult leader and the brute. He tries to run, and the one-eyed cult leader fires at him, while lamenting that she had to sacrifice her good eye. Hearing the gunshots, the one-eared man stops digging, and heads out of the basement to investigate. Shot in the leg, the pizza man limps through the forest as the brute tracks him down. It's not long before the brute catches up to him and kills him. The brute then checks the pizza man's phone, and sees the image of Josie trying to wave at him from the window upstairs. Left unguarded in the basement, Sophia and Rick stare at the unearthed entrance the one-eared man has been digging for. Then Josie comes and unties Sophia, but she doesn't have enough time to release the family, because the Divide cult members are already heading back into the house, and are now aware of her presence. The cult quickly apprehends her, but their leader decides against killing her, since she can be used as a substitute in the event of Jen Castillo dying from her head injury. The cult leader ties up Josie and heads into the basement, where she opens the door to the gateway, exposing Sophia to the evil light. Close to Josie, Sadie, who was fatally wounded when the cult leader shot her, uses her final moments to free the babysitter. Outside, the one-eared man tells the brute to get rid of the pizza man's vehicle. When he steps back into the house, he notices that Josie has escaped. Furious, he goes searching for her upstairs, and when he finds her, the two of them enter into a fight that helps Josie discover her inner strength. She throws the man off a balcony, before going downstairs into the kitchen, to set a few traps for the remaining cult members. In the basement, the cult leader injects Sophia's parents with a tranquilizer, as she prepares to begin the ritual. Sophia heads back upstairs to check on the phone that's been charging this whole time. She switches on the device, but the brute returns, forcing her to hide beneath the bed before she can use it. The brute goes to the wall he was digging through earlier, and brings out the ritual box the cult has been looking for. The box has 3 black face masks with nails on them, which will be placed on the heads of the Castillo family during the ritual. Unfortunately for Josie, the now switched on phone vibrates receiving messages. The brute sees the mobile device and crushes it. Then he notices a trail of blood leading into the bathroom. He follows the trail, and Josie ambushes him, hitting him in the head with a baseball bat. The brute passes out, and Josie walks out thinking he's dead, but he soon follows her down the stairs, as she runs into the kitchen where she was setting traps earlier. The brute takes out his gun, and walks in firing his weapon at what he assumes is Josie. But he steps into one of her elaborate traps, which leads to him taking a full wine bottle to the head. Hearing the gunshot, the cult leader leaves the basement and heads for the kitchen. There she finds the dazed brute, who's been partially blinded by the wine. The brute fires on her thinking she's Josie, and the cult leader dodges and fires back, thinking he's betrayed their cause. She kills the brute, just as she realizes that all this was caused by the babysitter. Now completely deranged, the cult leader quickly finds where Josie is hiding. She pursues her briefly, but decides to go to the basement and take Sophia, so that she can use the innocent child as a bargaining chip. In the basement, she finds Sophia staring directly into the open gateway, before taking the child with her. She enters the attic, telling the hidden Josie that she'll hurt Sophia if she doesn't reveal herself. But Josie uses the knowledge she gained from Camp Mustard Seed as a child, to take down the psychotic woman and save Sophia. Saving the day, Josie carries Sophia over her shoulder, as the once innocent child recites the mantra of the Divide cult. The end. Thank you for watching. Subscribe if you'd like to see more videos like this. Turn on the notifications and leave a like to help the channel out.